Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. Founded in 2013, the EHL has become the college placement leader on the East Coast. Sit back and learn more about the next step in your junior hockey career.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto, we take care of our own, as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's up? My name is Neil Ravin, and this is episode number 141 of the E-Show. On this week's episode, we get you geared up for the 2022 EHL All-Star College Series. Kicking things off in the weekly rundown, we discuss this week's set of exhibition matchups as Team EHL faces off against Nazareth College on Friday and SUNY Brockport on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the South Division All-Star team will take on Lebanon Valley College in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Moving along to the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge, Team HNIB is coming off of their best week of the season as we reverse the structure this upcoming week with each lineup featuring 5 EHLP players and 1 EHL player. Finally, to wrap things up in our What to Watch For segment, we preview what to expect for both All-Star teams this upcoming weekend, both on and off the ice. This week's episode is brought to you by Hockey Tech, the developers for the new EHL app, available now in both Apple and Google stores. And with that, let's bring in the E-Crew, Jeff, Tyler, and Anthony. Another week gone, and we're at All-Star Week. Like, pinch me. How are we already at the end of October? Like, how did we get here this quickly?
All teams in the EHL minus the Lumberjacks and double digits games played, Commissioner.
Yes. It's crazy. A race. It's a race this year. I mean, I think Terry wants to reach 46 games with the Ducks faster than anybody else.
Before New Year's.
Leading the way with 14 already.
Yeah.
It feels like everyone's sprinting. It's
going to be a slow back end of the year for the Quacks down in New Jersey. I'll tell you that.
Everyone schedules differently, though. This is the part of the scheduling, Anthony, that's not on me. I tell them what they have to do. I don't tell them how they have to do it. They just have to have this many games scheduled. So everyone, hey, you know what? We've talked about every week, rest versus rust and all the above. You kind of have the power to make your schedule however you want. I mean, look at this week. We're off. You know, all teams were told to black out this weekend on their schedule because of the EHL All-Star College Series. Which at the minimum, you black out the day that we're dropping this podcast, Thursday the 20th, then Friday the 21st, and Saturday the 22nd. If you're the Apple Corps and you're Philly Hockey Club, let's not get right back into it on Sunday the 23rd at 3 p.m. I mean, they'll have at least 2 players, Nolan Wutsky and Joe Harrison, who I promise you will be tired for that game. Yeah. I promise you they will be tired for that game.
And probably won't be at the opening faceoff. And might see them sit for a couple of shifts, I would say. Give them a little extra time there, coaches.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, they'll each have matching hat tricks, though. I can't turn my computer screen, but I know I texted a few of you guys this picture. The vehicle that I am taking this weekend.
Yes.
That Tyler's jumping in. It is a Nissan Armada. So I walked in and I was like, they're like, what did you rent? I was like, I think it's like a Chevy Tahoe. They're like, well, we don't have any of those, but we have a Nissan Armada. I was like, a what? I've never even heard of this thing. I feel like I'm driving a Hummer. It is that big. So
I still feel like it's slightly smaller than the all-terrain vehicle we drove a few years ago, Neil. I don't know. You say otherwise, you're the one driving, not me.
The GMC.
As long as it gets out to Western New York and back, that's all.
You got to call it the Ravin wagon.
Yeah,
does it have a train horn?
I've heard the Ravin wagon. I've heard the Neil Mobile and then the Neilson. So plenty of
Neilson
for the vehicle.
I actually like that one.
That's just parked to my driveway. It hasn't really moved yet. So.
Shout out to Jake for that one. Got to give Jake his credit for that.
For sure. But let's now jump into the weekly rundown.
It's time for the E-Crew's Weekly Rundown.
The E-Show Weekly Rundown is brought to you by the Junior Hockey Podcast, your home for junior hockey news, knowledge, and nonsense. Check them out at tjhpodcast.com.
So we will start with the elephant in the room. Everyone is wondering this as we record this podcast. And on the website, when you log in and see, the Rangers are listed at 6-6. That's not the record, though, that they believe that they are. which I confirmed prior to this episode. Once again, the
Is it
Rangers.
12-0 now?
No, they will honestly admit that they are 11-1. Rich
11-1.
has said 11-1.
Oh,
He's
okay.
conceded the one.
He
He's
goes,
conceded one.
yeah, he's conceded the one because they did not score against Seacoast. So he has to, from his
the game-
perspective,
Even the
yes.
game against the Wolves. So we
Yes,
can say that.
No, they should have won that game. They did it to
Should've won
themselves
that
on the
one.
stretch. But he says, I'll concede the Spartans game because we did not score a goal in that game. I said, okay, 11-1, not 6-6, 11-1.
16. Yeah.
He goes, I do want to say, though, that despite the 43 saves that Tristan Fatadad made, there was an invisible force field that day, and the puck could not break through that force field into the net. I was like,
Well,
I go, it's also
Wow.
called the goalie,
Well,
but okay.
We'll definitely
Invisible
get
to
into
some.
We'll get into it later in the fantasy portion, but Team HNIB, a big thank you to Mr. Tristan Fatadad for that performance.
Yeah.
43 save donut. We needed it bad. We talked about closing this gap in fantasy. Again, we'll talk about it later, but again, thank you for that, sir, because we needed it and it helped.
A force field behind the goal. I mean,
Never
you
heard
know
of
what
that.
though? I will say, as
Whatever
a New
works,
Jersey,
Anthony.
as a New
Whatever
Jersey
works.
Devils fan, I can relate to it because the Devils have dominated offensively in their first 3 games, but their first 2 losses were both
But
by
they
scores of 5-2. So I can sort of sympathize with that. But
Mackenzie Blackwood, not so great this year, Anthony.
yeah,
invisible
I mean,
force
Vitek
field in that
Vanacek
net.
struggling out of
Oh,
the
and
gate,
Vanacek
but
too, yeah.
no, I mean, great game for Tristan Fatadad, and the Spartans just continue to
Yep.
tear up the league. You know, are you not entertained? And also the New England Wolves, first team to reach 10 wins. They're another team who I think they are for real this year.
Yep.
Like
Both.
the
7-4
Avalanche.
win against the Railers yesterday. That was a big game for both of those sides. For the Wolves to be able to put up 7 on Kulonic and the Railers, that was huge.
And then the Avalanche are 7-3-1. They're the best third place team you've ever seen.
And
The
all
Lumberjacks
three
are
of those
6-3, the best 4th place team you've ever seen. That's where
It's the
we're
whole
starting,
division.
obviously. The division is just ridiculous.
It's honestly the one that seems to be the most, like, I want to say almost unpredictable still, because even
Yep.
though you've got 2 teams that are off to really great starts right now, the 2 teams that are 3rd and 4th are also very good. So it's like you have 2 teams that are hot out of the gate and they're winning and they're scoring a ton of goals and they're not giving up a lot of goals either. You got to give Trevor Jewell and Tristan Fatadad a lot of credit, as much as you give guys like William Prey credit. But the Avalanche and the Lumberjacks, they're not bad either, and they could very much catch up as the season rolls along. It's going to be really interesting to see how that division race plays out.
I got an interesting stat from Mr. House, dad of 100+ point
Are you
EHL
reading my
D-man.
mind right now? Are you reading my mind?
He pointed out that the number of regulation losses per division, the North only has 9 losses, whereas the next lowest, the South Division, has 21.
Like,
Oh.
And
what?
I just stare.
That's
I
juicy.
stared at that tweet for a
That is
little
an
bit,
insane stat.
and I think the
Thank
first
you, Mr.
thought I
House.
had though,
Yes.
and like, yes, the North Division's very good, but then I also thought, well, 2 things. One, the North Division has 1 less team,
Yeah.
4 teams versus 5.
Very good
So
point,
the
Anthony.
South has 57 games played as opposed to the North with 42. And I think the other thing, the North Division gets to play against the East Division, the New England Division,
Oh,
where
Ooh.
I think the South is
what are you
more
trying
like
to
a
say,
fight,
young man?
a fight within itself. No,
Well,
I'm just saying that, like, you can't just go by the regulation losses to
there's-
measure the
It's
strength
all right,
of the
Anthony.
division.
Stir the
There's-
pot, people.
there's
We
some
already say
validity
it. Stir
there,
it,
though.
stir it, stir it.
I think there's some validity in Anthony kind of stirring the pot a little bit there. You know, the East Division right now is a little shaken up. I think it's definitely ripe for the picking for other teams right now. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say.
No, we've joked about it. I used to call them the Beasts in the East last year. Well, the Beasts are I
Yeah,
don't know, it's Halloween. They're a little scared of their
it's a
of
slow
what they look
start.
like. And yeah, a little slow start, but it's a long season. You know, it's
Right.
not how you start, it's how you finish.
It is.
And
it is
all the teams will tell you that. Rich DiCaprio said that to me at Worcester, saying that he was not going to sound any bells when they were 0-2. It's like, Jeff, now if we were 2-12, yeah, I'd be sounding alarms, but it's just 2 games. So, you know, and now they're back to 6-6. As Neil texted us the other day, they were in the top 5 of the power rankings, the Rangers, and now
Come Monday, they will not be in the top 5.
No.
Seacoast will be. I think that everyone on
they were number 4.
Everyone probably realizes that Seacoast will be jumping them with that shutout victory.
Seacoast has been salivating to get in. So
Yes.
that just proves to you, right, Neil, Anthony, and Tyler, but everybody, again, we'll say it every episode until everybody understands. Read the fine print on how we do power rankings now. We are not voting on it. It is an actual point system on how to get in there.
I mean,
If there's any team that deserves to be in there,
social media, where it's like blame the algorithm.
Right,
It's all
exactly.
the algorithm.
Exactly. But if there's any team that deserves to be in there, if we were doing the old voting or anything else, Seacoast at 8-2, 42 goals for, 21 goals against. They've been putting up 4 or 5 goals easily almost every single game. And then, well, as you guys have mentioned, Tristan Fatadad's been unbelievable in the net. Skelton too. He hasn't been any schlub as a backup. So, if there's any team that deserves to be in the top 5, it's them. And like you said, Neil, I think it's coming next week after that 1-0 win over the Rangers.
So I'll see all that, and I'll raise the fact that I'm going to read off the top 5 goal differentials in the league right now. These are all plus 23, plus 21, plus 19, plus 10, plus 10. 4 of those 5 come in that division. That's insane. That's insane.
They're scoring goals, but not giving up a lot of goals. The perfect formula in hockey.
Yep.
It's hard to do.
I do think the South is its own gauntlet, but it almost feels like 1 and 1A right now.
Yeah.
It's early, that's nothing. The Central and the
their own
East.
challenge, I think.
Yeah. Watch us go to Providence and the Central or an East team wins the whole thing. Right. And then throws it right in our face. But
they might like it that way.
Yeah.
They might like to fly under the radar.
But, in talking with college coaches so far this season, they say the best part about the EHL this year is even with the North win of this, doesn't matter what game, you got to show up.
Yeah.
You have to show up. If you don't show up, you're going to lose. And look at all the scores from this past week for just further proof of that. I mean, it feels like every time I log in to see what took place, it's a 1-goal game or a 2-goal game or an overtime game. And every team for the most part is getting revenge at times. I mean, ProTech and Philly Hockey Club, they've already played like 4 times, it feels like. Like, I don't know why they wanted to get all those games out early, but get them out early. Right?
Same with the Wizards in Rhode Island, right? They played each other 3 times already. Opening weekend twice. They played each other in the showcase. So, yeah, no, that's a really good point, Neil. Did have a couple of odd scores, right, Tyler? 10-2 Avalanche.
Yeah.
That call the other day?
Well, yeah, we should talk about that.
Get busy?
That was
You're a little busy, bud.
That was a crazy day because not only that, but the premier teams combined for a 9-6 score earlier in the day. So
what'd you say you called 27 goals that day?
27 in 6 periods. And unfortunately for the Seahawks, 4 different goalies. And it was a tough day in Hooksett, to say the least.
So you called a goal literally every 4 minutes.
It was 8. So in that
premier with the math, loves his math.
in that EHL premier game, this might have honestly been even almost as crazy as the 10 goals. The Avalanche were up 8-1, 10 minutes to go in the second. So they're halfway through the game and they've already scored 8 goals. The Seahawks would score 5 unanswered to make it 8-6 in the third period. And I honestly almost thought for a second that I was going to see an 8-1 lead get blown away. And I don't know who the premier player was at the end of the game that I ended up talking to, but I told him that, and he said that had we blown an 8-1 lead, we probably would have skated for the entire week without a single puck. And I said,
possibly have walked home as well.
I said, you know what, you're probably right, because I've seen 4-1 leads and 5-1 leads even get blown, but 8-1. And then to follow that up, the EHL team drops a 10 spot. Like, yeah, that was pretty nuts. But like, honestly, those wacky games aside, I agree with you guys. There have been a lot of tight games. There have been a lot of, especially early on in the year, it felt like every game to open up was either a 1-goal score or going into overtime or shootouts. And if you just look at the standings too, a majority of the teams in this league have at least 5 wins. The lowest amount of wins are the Rough Riders, who just picked up their 3rd today. So I mean, there's no winless team in this league, and you got to show up to play. You never know.
The
Yeah, much
Seahawks
like
won
last
their
year.
The Seahawks won
Yeah,
their
the
next two
Seahawks-
games after that
You got to
10-2
give them
loss.
credit. You definitely have to give the Seahawks credit. That was a very tough day for them, and that doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth when you get beaten that badly. And to come
No.
back against the Wizards, a divisional opponent, and fight back to show a better effort. Yeah, that's huge.
Would 8-1 be a bigger blown lead than 28-3?
Oh.
In hockey sense, I'd have to say yes.
Well, what
Because that
game
is
would
the
Neil
first
Raven
one.
be talking about? 28-3.
And Neil just has to find a way to bring it up because
Gotta get Dad in the episode.
Yes.
We gotta have an episode about Dad soon, Neil. I don't know, man. He's not looking good. Things are a little rocky.
If we can tie it into
him yelling
hockey,
at his whole team last week.
if we can tie it into hockey somehow, Jeff, I am all in.
We can somehow tie Tom Brady in the EHL. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. We're all smart guys here. We'll figure it out.
But again, then shifting over to the EHLP, it feels the same. Where you look at all the different division races, and start
North again. Or New England. Sorry,
we call it the New England
division.
I have 7 different division names, Jeff, just to make sure that we're really on our toes this season.
The New England North.
I think I was a little bit surprised by the Railers going up and handling Vermont the way that they did. In Vermont's 8 wins that they've had this season, they've looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And their 2
like Seacoast in the EHL, they just score.
Yeah. And their 2 losses, they've lost by 4+ goals. And it's like, where did that come from? And they've been at home each time too.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the Avalanche right behind them, who Tyler was just talking about with their crazy 9-6 win. I mean, the Wolves, I think quietly, Owen Courier posted a picture on Instagram, quit sleeping on us or something like that, with pictures of himself in goal. I mean, quietly, they're 6-1-2, right?
Yeah.
Adirondacks got 5 wins right there too. I mean, that division feels just like the North version in the EHL. Who do you want to play when you get to the playoffs?
It's a 3-point gap between 4th and 1st, which is pretty nuts to see. That doesn't really get much closer than that.
Nope.
And it's just to pick your poison, I guess. Everybody's playing really good to start, but we kind of talked about it earlier. It's not really how you start, it's how you finish. So some of these teams are off to a good start. It's going to be interesting to see who plateaus when, who falls back, who goes forward. I don't think it's going to stay neck and neck. I mean, it could, right? But I don't see that happening. We're going to get to a point this year where teams are going to start to break away, and other teams maybe will hit their peak. It's just a matter of the timing on all that, I feel like. But right now, like, everyone's off to a really good start. And
like you said too, Neil, with a lot of these new teams, and credit to the Adirondack Junior Thunder and the Joe Sindoni PA Huntsmen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, those are 2 brand new teams that have really figured things out of the gate. But like Tyler just said, those are 2 teams with a lot of guys that are playing in their first year of junior hockey. They're not used to 46 game seasons. So yeah, you look good right now at game 11. How are you going to look in game 42, 43, 44, a couple more months from now, when you just keep taking these beatings from all these different teams that you're playing, especially that New England division with that race that tight. Those teams, every time you play each other, it's going to feel like a playoff game type atmosphere. So that'll be interesting to see, in the coming months, once we get towards maybe like Christmas break, and kind of really see if the standings are still as tight as they are now.
I think with Adirondack, they certainly have the help by having a couple of EHLP guys in Devin Salone, Jack Randall, especially 2 guys who have made it to the Frozen Finals last season. So at the very least, I know with Adirondack, I'm not too worried about them. I mean, even the Pennsylvania Huntsmen, like, sure, they're kids playing junior hockey for the first time, and maybe they'll hit a wall at some point. I saw it with the 87s last season when their P team had an 8-game losing streak. But after the holiday break, they won like 11 of their last 13 games. Right. So I think with the Huntsmen, maybe at worst, I think that they might hit a lull at some point. And even that's not a guarantee. Maybe they can just keep playing better. But
Yeah.
I think even with the inexperience, they still have a lot of talented hockey players. And this past weekend, they had a tough game against Adirondack. I think it was like a 6-2 score. And then the next day, it went into overtime. So the Huntsmen can compete with anybody, too. So I think the Huntsmen are much better than I had initially thought for a team full of rookies. And also the Union Junior Thunder getting their first win, by the way. I think we should also mention that.
Yes.
They beat the Philadelphia Little Flyers by a score of 3-2. Tyler Goebel with 2 goals and an assist. He's been one of their best forwards.
Who him in fantasy, Neil? Do you know? Hey.
All right, Anthony. As the South representative, then I guess I'll put you on the spot early. Are we on a crash course for 87's Huntsman trip to the finals on the line?
Ooh.
Because it feels that way
Sheesh,
so
Neil.
far.
Yes, it certainly
early.
looks it right now. I mean, those two right now are the better teams in the South Division. Not sure what else to really say. Union. I guess they're the one expansion team that's had a little bit more difficulty finding their footing as compared to most other teams.
Yep.
But I mean, the Little Flyers have been struggling. The Renegades having trouble getting some offense like they have in years past. Where right now the top 2 favorites are the 87s and the Huntsmen. So I think for the South Division, I mean, as of right now, it sure looks that way.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Jeff hasn't pointed this out yet because Jeff loves Pims.
Love 'em.
Adirondack 157 so far.
Woo-hoo.
So
Come on into the sin bin, gents.
Second in the league though to the 87s 159. Anthony, we have to ask some questions about that. Not the league.
Connell McNeilis, what are you doing down
What's
there?
so funny is that I was actually talking about this with my ringside reporter Chris Russo, and I pointed out that last season the 87s were dead last in penalty minutes, one of the cleaner hockey teams.
The Lady Bears.
Especially because they were such a young team. Now this team's a little bit older. They play hard, and I guess with it just comes a bit more aggressiveness. I know there have been a couple of scrappy games, whether it be against Union, whether it's against the Little Flyers.
Also
the Connecticut Chiefs. I think for the EHLP, I think the biggest rivalry is not just the 87s and Little Flyers, it's the 87s and Chiefs at the EHLP level. No, really, those games are very chippy, and these two teams do not like each other.
That's fair.
A New England division rival from the north with the Mid-Atlantic.
Jeff is so thrown off by the fact that I have 7 division names this year.
Yeah, it does. Now I'm going to make sure I triple check every time I talk about each division. The New England division versus the Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, it screws in my head.
It's a little bit easier within the EHL with Central, East, North, South.
Oh, yeah, all day.
Yeah.
But, there's only 3 in the Premier, so.
Jeff, if you want a next off-season project, I'll let you come up with unique names for each division if you want. Call one the Mills division.
I don't know if I want my name on a division. The guys are just throwing around like, that Mills division sucks. Mills division's great. Yeah, maybe we'll find some sponsorships or something. If I can get a sponsor with my name, that might be a little better. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be the perfect sponsor, because mine would be something golf related, even though it just has something. We're playing the hockey here.
Oh, Justin coins my new nickname is General Mills. He wanted me to start my broadcast the other day.
Yes.
So good cereal company, strong. Might come with a few bucks. But...
Little Flyers, ALO would probably call it the Meek Mills division.
That's right.
Yep.
That might come with a few bucks too. I think Meek might want a few.
You know what? That's the move, Jeff. We got to get Meek Mills to sponsor a division of the league.
And it has to be the South. He's from Philly. So.
Yes.
I'm in the North, but it has to be the South Division.
Little Flyers and Philly Hockey Club have to network together on that. They should join forces.
We can't have Meek be the division of the North in the Boston area. That just doesn't make sense. He'd be like, what?
True. I also have to show you guys this. We're using a new stats package this season, so I'm hopeful that for those fans that are watching at home, they've enjoyed seeing the scoreboard on the broadcast. That's part of the new
Love it.
agreement that we have with LeagueStat. But Justin's finding new stuff every week. So we've added this new streaks page to the website. Have you guys seen this yet?
Oh, yes.
This
I
is
love
an
this.
absolute game changer. It can show you who's on what current streak. So
Mhm.
right now,
Surprise,
Gavin
surprise.
Glowitz is on a 3-game goal streak.
Present. Look
Like,
at that, from or to, if it's over, if it just ended, if
this
it just
is like
started.
insane.
Yeah.
So I guess
Wonder
that was
who's
the
at the
one.
top.
Well, that was the one thing about that 1-0 victory for Seacoast. Maybe he is human after all that.
It crushed William Prey's streak. Oh,
William Prey had 2 points in every single game
sheesh.
dating back to the season opener when they got shut out by the Wolves. I mean, look at that.
Wow.
3-2, 3-5, 3-2, 2-2.
Mhm.
And they still managed to win.
Well, and I think that was like to go back to the EHL for a second. When you think Seacoast winning hockey games, you think of a high scoring back and forth up and down the ice game. If they can win games 1-0, look out!
Yeah.
Like
That
look
William
out!
Prey scoring.
That new Preomax line, as I coined them. Prey.
Wait, now
Pray,
here-
no, not
here's-
there, but
here's the
Max was there.
question.
He scored that
Does it
goal.
only measure active streaks or?
No, see, look, it's from and to it.
Praise 5-game
Oh wow!
or Praise point streak, where he tallied 14 throughout that stretch, which is just insane.
So it
Went from
archives
September-
it, right, Neil?
September
After it's
29th,
over?
yep, to October 10th.
Beautiful.
So
Archived. Love
right
it.
now, the longest active present point streak in the EHL is 2 games, but AJ Lakis has 6 points in those 2 games. But,
He's on fire.
Wait, no, I think you have goal streak highlighted.
no, this is the point streak.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big blue one.
14,
Big-
12,
big
8,
blue
8,
one.
6, 6. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry,
Big
Anthony.
blue.
I see you getting close to the screen. I thought.
That was that size 9 font over
I thought Team OG had the tough eyes.
there?
A few more present streaks in the EHL. There you go.
Yeah.
Elijah Young, 6 straight games with a goal.
Go Rangers, go.
Hasn't had an assist in that time. But-
Drake Tomac from the Rangers as well.
Yep. So 4 games.
Jack Murkowski.
Yeah, this page is unreal.
That and
That's a good resource. We definitely did not have that last year. So
No.
another new favorite, especially one of our biggest eShow fans, Sean Walsh, loves the transactions page. Was hanging out with him the other day. He's like, I love this transactions page. I
Yeah.
can see who's coming in. Look at all this signs. Who's here? Who's there?
Yeah.
So that's another big one too.
Yeah. The fact that I have to do all this, I don't like.
Probably a pain.
I don't.
Oh,
love
you don't
that
like
much.
it, Neil? Is
Yeah.
that why your face is just like?
but it's worth
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Everyone
I think it's
loves
worth
it, Neil.
Yes.
It's a labor of
Um,
love.
For those that haven't checked them out yet, we obviously on the last week's episode of the podcast, we announced the EHL All-Star team that's heading up to New York this week. Matchups against Nazareth College and SUNY Brockport. I don't know if I mentioned this last week. Nazareth College on night 1. I'll try and get a picture with the 10 alumni that are on Nazareth's roster for the next night or next afternoon, I should say, the 2 p.m. game with Brockport. I don't know if we have enough space for myself and 21 alumni. 21 alumni on Brockport's roster. There are literally 3 times as many EHL alumni on the roster as non-EHL alumni.
So I was gonna say that does not include Margaret Hickling, alumni number 22, SUNY Brockport.
She brought that up.
Our dedicated.
It's amazing. People are obsessed with the internet. That's my conclusion from all this, right? But Seth Gustin reaches out to me and says, I hope you know, Neil, that the EHL All-Star team is not the first one to play Brockport this season. Do you know who played him before? Seth's former team, Niagara University Club Hockey, this past weekend. So
5-5 tie.
yes, they have set the bar. They have
primed the pump.
So
Hey, good parlay into the to talk about that Bethel beating the USA Hockey National Development Team 4-2, Neil.
yes,
We were talking about that the other day. Shout out
It's-
to the D3ers.
I
We talk
just
about it all the time.
for those people that are listening at home, that frown at Division III hockey, I wouldn't. That's all I have
No.
to say.
Just
I-
go
I-
look at
I
that
would-
on Twitter, and that'll tell you.
Yeah, here's your countdown until you start talking, Tyler. It's on Friday.
Yep.
So, yeah.
2 more days.
22 hours, 13 minutes, and 45 seconds. Keep grabbing the cough drops.
Yes. We
Yeah,
also
that's a good matchup.
announced the All-Star team that for the South Division that will be facing off against Lebanon Valley College on Saturday night, the game that Anthony will be calling with Chris Russo. So I want to give these guys the same love that we were able to give the EHL All-Stars going to New York. So this All-Star team going to LVC. Anthony, I'll probably have you step in here in moments. Give me a second. There are some names I'm good with. The forwards are TJ Avellino, Ethan Byrne.
Well done. Nice.
I got the first 2. Caleb
Keep going.
Cathcart,
Awesome.
Eliza Clow,
4 for 4.
Tristan Dalia.
Leah, yep.
Yeah,
5 for 5.
Patrick Demarinis, Kyle Fulkerson, Jack
7,
Ford. Ready
8.
for this one, Jeff? Nick Aver.
What?
Yes, that's what Terry told
He
me.
was on our fantasy team. No more Hebert.
He
Aver?
said
Where's
Where's
Aver.
the V?
Aver.
It's
And
it's-
Terry's Canadian. Is Nick Canadian?
Yes.
Okay, so Terry, the fellow Toronto. He's from the Great White North, so he knows.
Yep.
Aver. Wow.
Yep. Tyler
Hey, you're on-
Song,
you're
Kobe
on fire.
Howitt,
Keep
Tanner Conter, Graham McDougall, Quinn Murphy, and Tommy Tracy.
Wow.
Defenseman for
Perfect.
Team We the South. Todd Branish, Jacob Gates, Devin Jolly.
That's TJ Brandish, right, Anthony?
What?
Does
Is
he
it?
go by TJ, not Todd?
Yeah, he goes by TJ.
No.
But he still listed as Todd.
Okay.
No, there goes the end of Neil Street.
Andre Levtikov, Ian
Oh.
Lindbergh, Tommy Madden, Julian Wainwright, Hayden Watson, and then goalies Lincoln Crosby, Louis Finnegan, and Alexis Giroux. So
Well done.
this is the team that will be taking on LVC on Saturday night. Terry Watt will be there from the Protect Ducks, Josh Fusco from Team Maryland. So we got 3 games this weekend. I know Tyler, I think it was you that asked this earlier. It's so hard to even predict what to expect in these games. I mean, like just the fact that when we go to Brockport, and I would imagine he'll use all 3 goalies for a period apiece. But right here in the middle of this photo, guys, is Nolan Egbert.
Oh,
If he
stud.
doesn't make, you know what? We're here. Let me just go find the box score. I have to just go find the box score because if he doesn't put together the performance that he did against UMass Boston in the first ever edition of this event, the event doesn't take off to the way it does, right?
Yep.
And now he's on the other side. Like my head is like literally explodes thinking about that.
I love it too. It is. Egbert I can't believe he's still there. He's a grad year this year.
He is a grad,
Yeah.
and he played his first 2 years with UMass Boston.
So
we
like, look
just
at
found this out like the other day too, didn't we, Neil? We were looking,
Yep.
we were like, oh, Egbert's still there. Uh-oh.
So like here is the original box score from the very first ever EHL All-Star game versus a college team, right? Hold on.
Individual, yeah.
Alex
No-
Ochterbeck. Look at that. Let's talk
Nolan
about League
Egbert
South.
made 36 saves in half the game.
21 saves in the first period, 15 in the second.
Like
Wow.
Mike
then
Pagluka
Pagluka.
made 20 saves.
Yeah,
Right.
56 shots.
The coolest part about this whole thing, UMass Boston scores 3 goals in that game, right? 2 of them
Yeah.
right there. Nolan Redler played in the EHL. So the EHL, in my opinion,
Yeah.
won that game. All right. All right. I
Uh-huh.
think, you know who would back me up with that? Rich.
Silver
would back me up with
Lions.
it. Rich would back me up
Rich
with
DiCaprio?
that. Yes, he would definitely back me up.
That's such a galaxy brain take. I love
Are we undefeated against the colleges? Is that the
Yes.
another new take?
Hey, you know
We've
what?
never
I-
lost to a college, guys.
Not gonna lie, we did score first that game.
Oh, we won't.
We
And
did-
last year we also had a lead against Curry.
Yes,
And UMass Boston, Bobby Geyer scored the first goal of that game.
yes. As I almost missed it on camera, I do remember that one as well. Which is why on this weekend I'm probably going nowhere near either press box. Just
Not
so-
allowed.
Yeah,
Neil's staying far
I
away.
can't.
Very
My job is to drive the talent there, Jeff. My job is to drive Tyler and
Drive the
and Trevor and Jake there. I
Yep.
I get there. I hand out jerseys. I disappear.
There you
That's
go,
it.
Dad.
So, but it's what's
That's
great
the
about
objective.
these games is it's really not just the game because each team, the South All-Stars and the EHL All-Star team, they each get to meet with the coaches from the respective teams that they're playing. They each get to tour the campuses and walk around and get that exclusive, college visit, if you will, and then obviously play in the game as well. I know, Anthony, you get to call a game at Hershey Park Stadium. Like, that's a historic building. Like, that's pretty damn cool.
I'm so looking forward to that. I really am.
Yeah.
All for you, Ant. That's awesome, dude.
We're going to see so many alumni with all the teams. I didn't count LVC's alumni. I should have counted that one before we got on this podcast. I mean, Jeff.
Could do it on the air if you'd like.
Yeah, Jeff, the first person that we're going to see when we walk into the game on Saturday against Brockport, you know who it's going to be, right?
Tom Cherko?
No, I'm not even talking about players now. Now I'm talking about players' parents.
Oh,
Tammy Aarons.
Tammy Aarons.
Chris
Tammy
Aarons,
Aarons,
the
right.
biggest fan of the league,
Oh,
right?
Tammy Aarons, we love her. She's the best.
That countdown that I was teasing Tyler with, she has that countdown probably going in her house right now. But let's, you know what? While we're on the fly here, Jeff, I will count EHL alumni.
I already see an 87.
Dylan Gutierrez 1. Jackson LeGros is 2.
Matt Kassab, who we found out is Kassab, not Kassab, from his father at the Frozen Finals years ago.
Flipped. It's Kassab, not Kassab.
Kassab, not Kassab, and told us like 3 years after. It's like, oh, it's fine. We go by both. I'm like, no, it's not fine. Tino Alani, I interviewed him at the Frozen Finals like way back.
Yes.
Did I see? By the way, hang on. Did I see Brendan Yingling as well? EHLP alum.
Jackson Legro too. We skip over him.
Yep.
There's another one.
I think you did, Anthony.
Tino Alani.
Wait, no,
Ty Franchi.
Neil,
Ty Franchi.
Neil,
Yeah,
I think you're also looking at the. You're looking at last year's roster. I have a link up for this year's roster.
It's got 22, 23 right here.
Click go.
But why does it say
21?
Why does it say 21, 22 right there?
Well, hang on. Scroll down a little bit.
I am confused. Neil is confused.
Old man, come on, let me help you out here.
All right. Well, go back up. I want to go to Dylan Gutierrez because I know that he's entering his second year. What does it say on the roster over here? It says he's a first-year student, so that's last year's roster. I just put the link in for the current roster.
Yeah, hit refresh there again, old man.
Like, see where there you go.
I am hitting the button, guys. I am hitting the button.
Neil,
We're at the casino.
Just click on the link that I sent you.
This is awesome.
Anthony provided a direct link.
Well, okay, something is off then because
that's the current roster.
There we go. All right, now let's start over.
Start over.
Legro, Dylan Gutierrez.
Dylan Gutierrez is 1. Jackson Legro is 2.
Yep.
Dylan Miller.
Dylan Miller is 3. Brendan Yingling is technically 4. He was playing EHLP Central Penn Panthers, then went to play for my good buddy of mine, actually, RC Like with the Richmond Generals in the USPHL. 5. Matt Kassab.
6.
Ty Franchi. Remember, he went to Lebanon Valley College mid-season last year and got all rookie team. He was there half the year.
Oh, Bobby Halfcock. He was on the Rangers.
Reese Francis. So plenty of alumni here as well.
Is there an assistant coach named John Denver?
I do. I almost just said that. That's just
Country Roads, take me home.
That's awesome.
that's not the same guy, right?
No,
Okay.
that looks a little slightly different.
Anthony, I got your next cue and Anthony. Right there. John Denver.
And you could say you interviewed John Denver.
Yes. You're gonna say, are you the real John Denver? Question 1. Question 2. Can you recite verse 1 or the chorus right now? And that would be the answer to
question 3. John, will you take me home? Country Roads.
They're gonna start playing it mid-game. Anthony and Chris are gonna start singing it. Don't show this.
Chris will start singing it.
Yes, don't show this to Chris yet, Anthony.
No,
oh, he probably knows by now.
Yes, this is true. But we teased this earlier that huge start that Tristan Fatadad had for the Seacoast Spartans has helped Team HNIB.
They're alive.
Revive its pulse. So let's jump into the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge.
It's time for the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge.
The E-Crew Fantasy Challenge is presented by BioSteel, the sports drink of the EHL. Use the promo code ESHOW, that's ESHOW, for 25% off when you check out at biosteel.com.
So yes, that will probably be the best single game fantasy performance of the year because it's a bonus shutout victory against a top 5 team. So on
Like
its
what you were
own,
just doing with the tapping the button. Tap, 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 ding, 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 ding. Like casino.
point.
What was it? 18.6 was the final tally?
18.6 to get that in
Damn.
one game. And then he only had one game this past week. So he made it count. That's for sure. Right.
Needed it.
I was saying that's like a week's worth of points, 18.6 for a goalie.
Yes. So you add that 18.6 plus a goal and 2 assists for Patrick McKiernan from the Avalanche, 2 goals and assists in a game winner for Alex Gamzatov for the 87s, a goal for Rocco Siri, 2 assists on the power play for Jack Randall. You add all of that together, and it's 43.6 points for Team HNIB this past week. So they did gain some ground on us, Jeff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Only 5 points, though.
Oh,
only 5 points.
Hey, Patrick McKiernan was it him or Daniel? Patrick just committed to something.
Daniel.
Right?
Daniel.
Oh, it was Daniel.
Yes.
They're cousins.
Are
Chris
they
was telling me the other day. I believe
Okay.
Chris told me Tyler that the other day. So
Yes.
congrats to Daniel.
I
Go play for
originally-
Sean McEachran and Suffolk.
I originally thought they were brothers, but then
Yeah, me too.
heard that they were actually cousins. So there you go.
Cousin love.
More you know.
Had to throw that out.
So for Team OG's points, I need to start by bringing up what I brought up this past week. You don't know that they're listening until they message you. And I said last week that we were picking Joe LaChase because he is the self-dubbed pride of Howard Beach, right? So
Then what? You got a little hashtag Howard Beach?
last Thursday they played a game, and after that that game ended, I got a message that the pride of Howard Beach is promising you points next game. I'm so sorry about today. LOL.
Thanks, Joey. Love that. That is phenomenal. We'll take the assist, Joe. Yeah.
We'll take the assists.
We expected more, but it's okay. Hey, it's all
We'll
right.
take the 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 power play points, and I need to add in. I forgot to add in a game winner. I'm not cheating, everyone that's listening at home. I just forgot to add in the game
Justin.
winner. Okay.
Sure.
Will Halecki.
Justin goes to edit this. You know that'll come up with a it'll be like sound effect.
I can't deny that Neil's lying because I called that game winner. So
See, there you go.
Yeah. So 3 goals, an assist, and another game winner for, as Anthony mentioned before, Tyler Goebel, Union Junior Thunder.
Our P player leading the way.
Yes, Merrick Herda and Eddie Mulligan, our defensemen, were like, the forwards got this week. We're good. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, fine.
Take the week off.
I guess we'll deal with it. And then Kyle Span, as we mentioned before, our sources told us he would get 2 starts. Our sources confirmed 2 victories.
I also picked up an apple.
Yes, our sources did not predict the assist that was going to come.
Yes.
So
Yes.
point.
39.8 points
Love
for
those.
us. So they gained about 4 points on us, Jeff.
Mm.
But we got the pick first this week.
We did.
And for those that followed along last week, we're going to reverse things up because as we do every week, the podcast goes from Thursday to Wednesday. And obviously blacking out a few days on the EHL schedule results in a total of 6 EHL games this upcoming week. So usually we have a full lineup with 1 EHLP selection. This week we have a full lineup with 1 EHL selection. So this could go great, hopefully, for us.
Oh, I will. Positive thoughts.
Do you want me to just take it, Jeff?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
I'll say I can mix and match. I got all their tabs open, so you go right ahead.
Victor Deneau, of those 6 EHL games, he's in 2 of them because there's a big series next week in Exeter, 2-game series between the Spartans and the Lumberjacks. Mentioned earlier, a 1-0 victory for the Spartans over the Rangers. I'm expecting a Lumberjack Spartans game to be like Tyler's first period from the mini showcase when they were running up and down the ice at 100 miles per hour.
Hey, he's
on the
streaking.
call.
He's streaking. Five
I'm on
game
the
point
call on
streak.
Wednesday. Very much looking forward to that. 2:30 at Exeter.
Yep.
If it's anything like the mini showcase game, it'll be one of the best games I call in the regular season. So
Victor
very much-
Dieno is streaking. Everybody, 5 games straight.
Jeff, for the next
Just let you know.
24 hours, is just going to be living on the streaks page.
I
Just going
love
up
that.
and
That is like
down.
hockey nerd central. Love it. I'm already engrossed in it.
Another forward that we're picking this week was mentioned earlier, AJ Gazzardi, who's leading the Avalanche EHLP team in scoring. The third forward had a 5-assist game this past week, but he also shares the last name of a player we picked this past week on defense.
Eddie.
So we're trying a mulligan, but bum. Yep. With Charlie Mulligan.
Dad
So,
jokes.
yes, that's an incredible dad joke. I hope people really can appreciate that one.
Giving ourselves a mulligan.
So, on defense, I'm laughing at my own joke right now, Jeff. We have
I'm laughing
Xander
with
Badger from the Railroads Junior Hockey Club, and then we're picking not one but two PA huntsmen, Hunter Irera and
I think it's
Todd.
Herrera?
I was having a good episode
Oh.
going, Jeff. So I was bound to mess one up eventually. And then Ty Jones. So
There we go.
that is Team OG for the reverse week, we'll call it. Team HNIB.
That's us.
All right. So
Take it away.
yeah, we Team HNIB, we were deliberating and we figured with let's start with the New Hampshire Avalanche. They have a 2-game series coming up against the Adirondack Junior Thunder. So we're going to take a forward from each team. We're going to start off with Zach Needham. He has 12 points in 11 games. He's been pretty good as of late. He's on a 4-game point streak, including his most recent performance, 2 goals and an assist against the Seahawks Hockey Club. We're going to pick him. And for the Adirondack Junior Thunder, why not go with the coach's kid, Jack Murkowski? But should make of note, it's not just because he's the coach's kid. He's pretty damn good himself. He has 15 points in 11 games, 6 goals, 9 assists. Got to see how good he was against New Jersey. He had 4 points that weekend. And then he had 5 points against the Pennsylvania Huntsmen. To round out that forward group, we're going to go with Jonah Bird. He has 5 points in 9 games, but he has a goal and an assist in his last 2. We're going to go with him there.
Not Jonah Bird from Ozark. This is Jonah Bird from EHL.
No, for the defenseman, we're going to go with Eric Toto from the Valley Junior Warriors. He has 5 points in 8 games. He's a guy who can move the puck for the Junior Warriors. Our other defenseman will be our one EHL pick. That will be Shane Green with the Philadelphia Little Flyers. He had a point in their most recent game against the Connecticut Rough Riders. See if he can pick up some points as well. And for the goaltenders, we're going to go with Duncan Miller for the Boston Junior Rangers. Has a 2-0-1 record. He has a .950 save percentage. He's been pretty good for Boston, and hopefully he'll get a start this week.
Boom.
Lock it up.
I should have kept the tab open. The overall totals, as I mentioned, Team HNIB did close the gap slightly by 4 points. But Team OG out in front, 181.2, and then Team HNIB at 125.8. But with this reverse week, anything can happen.
We're banking big on the
Oh, we're up
EHL.
to-
We're gonna need a week like Jeff had last year, where he picked up like 80 points or something. We're gonna
A
need
little-
just like a stupid good week.
The sprinkle of everything. And just to, tout ourselves a little more, we're already at, if you counted this as like a season total, we have 24 goals. We have 27 assists, 13 power play points, 6 game-winning goals, 4 goalie wins, 2 bonus goalie. What is that bonus? Oh, yeah, bonus goalie wins.
Yes.
BGWG. That's a mouthful.
Those are bonus game-winning goals.
Bonus
Jeff,
game-winning goals. That's what
you do strike me as the kind of guy that would try to play an EHL or EHLP game, and it'd be like the bench warmers where you give them the birth certificate. That's just a photo. It's written in crayon. I am
12.
I am in 02 birth year.
That's me.
Oh,
I am 12. I am 18.
Whatever it
Yeah,
takes.
I am
to win
18.
EHL. Whatever it takes to win eShow fantasy. Whatever it
Yes.
Yes. Just a friendly chirping.
But don't ever cheat, Tyler. I never cheat. So with that, let's jump into what to watch for.
Before we wrap things up, here's what to watch for this week in the eShow.
What to Watch For is presented by Hockey TV, the official streaming platform for your EHL and EHLP action through the 2022-2023 season.
I think it goes without saying that to watch for
All-Star
our
games?
3 All-Star games.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, Tyler
Yep.
will be on the call with Jake for the matchups against Nazareth College, which is Friday night at 7 p.m. And then against Brockport on Saturday at 2 p.m. In a perfect world, Anthony, we would teleport down to you and be able to make it in time. But I'm kind of like fascinated by geography. It's something that you guys probably didn't know about me. So like, I love looking up just distances between places. It's four and a half. It's 4.5 hours from where we'll be, Brockport, to where you're going to be in Hershey, PA. And that's 7 o'clock puck drop. So there's just no physical way that we'll make it there in time. But we will have hockey TV on in the car, listening to you and Chris Russo call that South All-Star team matchup against Lebanon Valley College. I'm beyond excited for this weekend. It was pretty cool. There's a guy named Jason Steenworth that reached out to me, who owns Mark's Pizzeria up in upstate New York, and literally coordinated like all the meals for the entire week.
Wow.
I was like,
well done, Mark's Pizza.
You just saved me like so much time and effort and everything.
Stress,
like great. He even on Saturday, Tyler, this may slow us down. We're going to this huge breakfast at this place called Johnny D's. I did speak to John. I did speak to Johnny. He's excited to have the team there. We'll probably take a team picture with him.
Ooh. A little breakfast buffet. What's on the menu?
But this guy Jason walked in and was like, "Hey, there's a team coming up here. Can they use your like banquet room for breakfast on Saturday?" Johnny called me. He's like, what do you want to eat? I was like, everything. Like he's like,
all of the food.
Yeah, we go over budget and whatnot. He's like, well, that doesn't take anything off the menu. Well, we'll let you guys choose whatever you want. I was like, all right. Well, so maybe when the players walk in, Tyler, we'll have to say like, hey, like no French toast, because that may slow you down a little bit in the game today. I don't know. We'll figure. Let them figure out.
Maple syrup
or
sugar.
Out of solidarity, it'll be a light breakfast for the broadcaster too, so that way, along with the players, we're in good shape. We're not bogged down by maple syrup and pancakes.
Get your proteins, get your fruits.
Maybe a strip of bacon. And
a strip. No, I have a few.
Hey,
proteins.
Good, Anthony, the South team is going to Daphno's Italian Grill. I've never heard of it. It's in Pennsylvania. You could join them for that if you would like to. So
I mean, with an all Italian broadcast crew, right? I'm sure we would certainly appreciate that.
It was selected by Terry. So
pink vodka sauce on everything. Veal parm, pink vodka sauce.
I think Terry Watts would have good taste.
Yeah, yes. Terry definitely does. Have you seen the way he dresses? If he eats the way he dresses, sharp dresser, sharp eater. Love you, Terry.
But obviously, we're excited for those games. A number of EHLP games on the schedule as well. And then, as we mentioned, there are a handful of EHL games. It's funny, they get right back into it Sunday and then the beginning of next week. There is also a huge announcement coming from the league on Monday. And I will leave it at just that.
We don't even know this. Usually we're the first ones that Neil.
I would just keep an eye on the league website. And social media platforms.
Well, I'll be calling you in 5 minutes after we're done anyway. So,
but I will, Tyler. I'll see you soon. I'll be
see you in the morning. Boys, I'll miss you. Have fun.
Bright and early.
See you all. Yes. Do well. I'll be watching.
Everyone that's coming out to the games this weekend, please travel safe and enjoy. Most importantly, enjoy these All-Star games, because this is something that we only do once a season, and it's a unique opportunity for all the players that get to be involved. So enjoy, and talk to you guys soon.
Happy hockey, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.